Hello and welcome to a very bright coloured car. This is the Abarth 500e, the new one, and as you can see it's finished in a very high visibility jacket green. Now we're going to be discussing what's the differences between this and the previous Fiat 500 Abarth, obviously that I've reviewed a couple of months ago. And first obviously is that this is electric, and that means it's going to be a lot heavier than the previous one. In fact it weighs 1400 kilograms, which is pretty heavy for a hatchback, but quite light for an EV, so we'll see how that performs on the road later. Now first of all, I do like the Abarth design on this one. They've actually kept the original sort of shape, and the front is a bit more aggressive overall, which I do prefer actually. Well, let's step inside though and have a look there. Of course it's still very typically Abarth in here. They've got the circular dash and dial clutter there. That is all now actually digital. The wheel is quite nice. It's got like a racy sort of feel, and it's obviously got the stripe here at the top of the wheel, and the seats are Alcantara sort of mixed with leather, which is really nice actually. I quite like that. Overall though, there's actually not very much going on here in the centre console apart from this sort of screen and a couple of buttons everywhere. This is very sort of open here, which could be good if you've got lots of luggage, but you know, it's kind of maybe a bit lacking. I suppose that's where the gearbox would have been. But let's take it for a drive and see how it performs. But first of all, we'll turn it on, because there's a special feature this car has. When we turn it on, as you can hear, it's got a fake synthetic sound. Not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. Let's see what it's like on the move. So in terms of performance, this car has 155 horsepower, which is roughly about the same as the one with the petrol engine, and obviously that feels a bit quicker due to the electric motor and the torque that gives. 0 to 60 is 7 seconds. First impressions, the handling is actually pretty nice. I mean, it's obviously weighs a lot more, but it's still got that sort of light and nimble feel that the one previously has, which is good. It's what we want. Even though it's got the batteries and it does weigh a lot more, it does have still the short wheelbase, so you do get the quick and sharp handling. But the batteries are mounted low down, so you do get a good centre of gravity as well. Personally, still not a fan of that noise. It's kind of like having a big bee follow you around. But it does, I suppose, accentuate the experience a bit more, because obviously with just being electric, it does make it slightly boring. To be fair, I'm quite surprised at how this car's performed. It's actually really fun to drive, even though it is an electric car, and obviously it's missing the manual gearbox, which is obviously essential for a hot hatch. I've quite enjoyed it actually.
So to sum up my experience of this new Abarth 500e, I would say that it did surprise me with the way it drove. Although it weighs 400 kilograms more than the petrol one, it does feel pretty good through the corners and is surprisingly fun. However, it only has 96 miles of range, so that fun factor does run out pretty quickly. In a city it would be perfect, as it's very quiet and easy to drive, with all the safety features like parking sensors and good visibility. Personally, I would still buy one with the engine, simply because the manual gearbox is a deal breaker in a hot hatch. But this is a nice step for electric cars to be more enjoyable, and the overall design is still a tribute to the original.